Okay. Yes. Um, mhm, yes. So, just a minute. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining. Um, I'm just starting with my presentation. This time, I'm starting with one of the beautiful scene of our lovely city, Baku, city of winds. Its flame towers have been built in 2012, and in today's session, uh, Rahim Zulfiqar from Pakistan, from EXCELpreneur company, will deliver his valuable speech. It will about data cleansing and transformation with text function in Microsoft Excel in next 2 hours. And regarding announcements, our next speaker is Leila Itaiti from New Zealand. She will talk about artificial intelligence in Power BI desktop on April 30th. And the next speaker after Leila is Tatiana Yostman from Russia, who is working for Microsoft, and she will be talking about solving some specific interesting problems in Power BI. So I would like to thank to everybody who had joined to the session. So now stage is yours, Rahim. Good luck. Rahim?
All right. Yeah. So
Yes.
you can hear me, and I hope that my screen is visible.
Okay. Let me share the screen. Sorry. Yes. Okay. That's okay. Yes. Yes, it's visible.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
So hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining in today. Today we will be discussing about data cleansing and transformation with help of text functions available in Microsoft Excel. And we will be covering all the fundamentals of function, and I will give you some learning resources as well, that how to make more advanced in solving your scenarios regarding the data cleansing with respect to the text functions. So let's get started. The file will be available to you after the session. I will hand over via email to the host, and he will be sending you that file. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's talk about something regarding the formulas and functions. So if I ask the attendees who are present today, so basically, what do you think? What is the difference between a formula and a function? You can write in the chat window, uh, and I will look at your comments. So what do you think? What is the difference, basic difference between a formula or a function? So formula is a combination of functions. Yes, that's one of the right definition about the formula. And the function is basically already a built-in. Yes, function is, Jayant Kumar says that function is a ready to use backend coded task. So this means that you have a clear concept regarding the differentiate between a formula and a function, right? So that's a good thing. So function is about a predefined set of instructions you need to follow, right? And a formula is basically can be said a combination of functions in a cell, right? Now when we talk about the function, so let's see the structure here. So function has a function syntax, and within that syntax we have some arguments as well. So if I can write here function arguments, and there are two types of function arguments. Number one, the ones which are compulsory, and the second one which are optional. And on the back end, they have some default values assigned, right? Now, for example, if we take an example of a function that is called left function. So when I write equals to left bracket open, round bracket open, so see, you can see a tooltip here, which we can say this is basically a function syntax. So we need to follow the structure here. And within that function syntax, we have some arguments. For example, we are using the left function. So in the left function, we have two function arguments, that is text, and the second is num characters, number of characters. And if you click on the fx button, which is just before the formula bar on this interface, so function arguments window will open, right? So you can see here this function arguments window. So we need to define these two function arguments. Now, how to identify that which function arguments are optional? So let me give you an example. You might be familiar with another function that is called if function. So if I write equals to if bracket open, so you can see that there are three function arguments in this syntax. The first one is logical test, then value of true and value of false. Now, if you can see one differentiate that the value of true and value of false is enclosed within a square bracket, whereas logical test is not. So this means that those function arguments which are enclosed with the square brackets are the optional, and you can skip that. But on the back ends, most commonly their default values has been assigned. Okay. All right. So that was the very basic about the function syntax and arguments. So let's proceed. Now we will be discussing about around 15 text functions in this webinar. And the difference between writing text functions in Excel as compared to the Power Pivot, where we use the DAX, data analysis expressions, is like that data analysis expressions understands the structured references. So for example, the text functions which you apply in your normal spreadsheets are almost same. Their arguments and their syntaxes are almost same in the Power Pivot DAX, but the difference would be that in Power Pivot DAX, you cannot call a cell as in relative and absolute, but you need to define the column names there. So that would be just a technical difference, whereas the practice of applying the text functions in Excel workbook interface will be same as in if you are using Power Pivot or you are using Power BI. Okay, so let's have a one example for that. Let's say if I am applying a text functions which is called the left, and I have a word that is called Azerbaijan. Okay, and I want to extract first four characters from the left side of this cell Azerbaijan. So what I can do is I will write equals to left bracket open, and then I will give a cell reference, which is the B13. Now you have a choice, either you go for a relative reference or you can change the form of the cell reference, that is absolute, or you can change the form of reference as in mixed reference. So at this point of time, it will not make a bigger impact, but you need to know that, understand that as an Excel user, when you want to copy the function from one cell to another location, so you need to consider either that cell would be lock or unlock. So from that perspective, you use the absolute or relative references. So in normally in spreadsheets, we just select the array or the ranges or a particular cell to transform that, and then we need to define the number of characters. Now if you can see that number of characters, which is the function argument, is the optional one because it's being quoted with a square bracket. So but in this example, we want to extract four characters from the word Azerbaijan. So I will write 4 here and I will close the bracket, right? So this is one of the example how to write in Excel, which is a very basic example if you are doing in Excel, right? But if you are doing in Excel Power Pivot by writing a DAX, so the difference will be, like for example Azerbaijan, the spelling this will be in a certain column. So there I will write something like equals to left, and then I will call a column name there. Okay, and then I will define the number of characters which I want. So this is primarily a difference, whereas the execution of the text functions either in Excel interface or Power Pivot, DAX or Power BI will remain the same with respect to the text functions only, whereas there are a lot of DAX functions which are not a part of Excel but they are used for more advanced data analytics, right? Okay, so we have the same approach of applying the text functions either in Excel or Power Pivot, but there is a structured reference being coming in the text. Now there are mostly there are common 6 different types of cell references which we need to understand first. So I'm writing all those names here, and then let me give you an example for that. So number 1 is relative, number 2 absolute, third one is the mixed, fourth one is called 3D, fifth one is references, and number 6 is external cell references. So day in day out as an Excel user, you might come across these type of cell references which you put in your Excel functions or formulas if you are using either lookup functions or logical functions or text functions. So you need to consider about the situation, and then you decide that which kind of cell reference you would like to have in your functions or formula. The examples are like, if for your understanding, for example, a relative cell references will look like a simple a cell address of column and a row, combination of row and column. Absolute will definitely fix that or freeze that particular cell or a range. So it comes with a dollar sign, right? So this is primarily a very basic about the Excel, a differentiate between a relative and absolute. And you can change these dollar sign by just pressing F4. That's the shortcut key. The mixed is basically a combination of relative and absolute, where either the column or the row you define to be fixed or not. So you just put the dollar sign. So it could primarily it could be written as either with $1. In this situation, the raw is absolute, the raw is fixed, and it could be like $A1. In this situation, the column is absolute or fixed. The 3D reference is something like you have multiple sheets and you are just getting a certain number from each of the sheets with a certain cell. So you call a specific cell from a different sheet, right, within the same workbook. So it looks like first the sheet name and then the cell address. And then the structured references. The structured references, for example, if you have a data and you select the data, so to make your normal data into a structured format, what you need to do is you need to select that specific range or array, and then you can just go to insert tab where you will find an option called table. So to make your structured references, data structured references, you need to convert that range into a table format and make sure that you have check mark my table as headers. Okay. So it will convert that into a table format where the first you will find the name of a table by default, for example, table 1. And in that particular table, you have so many columns. So you can call one specific column, for example, sales. So these are the structured references. And if you are a user of SQL structured query language, so you know that in this when you write when we write this SQL, we does not define the relative and absolute references. We call the tables and columns. Similarly, if you are working in Power BI, so we use structured references in DAX. And similarly, in the Excel Power Pivot, we have to use the structured references. So each of the data set has a certain name and their respective column names to be column. And the last one is the external cell references, where you are taking the numbers from the other Excel workbooks, right? So this looks like something. First you will find a workbook name, then sheet name, and then cell address name, right? So these are primarily 6 different types of cell references which you apply day in day out in your Excel formulas and functions, right? So whatever we will be discussing today about the text functions has a similar kind of approach of applying in Power Pivot. But one thing which I want to assure, that you need to make sure that you have structured references there. Okay. All right. Now let's start with some basic Excel text function, and then we will move forward towards the examples. So you will find all those text functions in the formulas tab, and there are some categories already available. For example, financial functions, logical functions, date and time functions, lookup and reference functions. So we will be picking up some 15 functions from these categories, and we will be applying in all those one by one examples. Okay. All right. So let's say if I have a word that is called Pakistan, and first we will be um learning about the extract, something which we want to extract from a cell. What are those functions available as in text category? So we have like left, right, mid, right? So these all functions basically extract some number of characters from a cell, right? So we will learn that, and I will give you one situation, and you need to answer in the chat window in a while. So let me first explain you these 3 functions. So first is the left function. The value is in B28 and the number of characters. Now here you can see that this is optional. If I don't write any number of characters here and I skip that, and if I close this, so on the back end, the default value set is 1. So only P, character P is just coming out of that cell, right? But if we want some number of characters, for example, from the Pakistan, I want from the left side 3 characters or 3 alphabets, you can say. So Pak is being extracted by the left function easily, right? The second function is the right function. So equals to right, and this time we want, for example, again 3 characters. So it will gives me TAN, right, from the right side. Now, the third function from the extracting point of view is the mid function. So for example, if I want to extract is from the spelling Pakistan, so I need to use mid, because is basically in the middle portion of this particular spelling. So I will start with cell reference, giving a cell reference in the text function argument B28. Starting number. Now you need to count that what is the position of I in this particular spelling. So I is the 4th character, 4th starting point. And then how many number of characters you want to extract? This is 2. So you can easily get IS from the spelling Pakistan. Now you might be thinking about that whatever I'm solving these situations with the left, right, and mid functions, the number of characters is I am writing manually. Like I am just counting in that spelling and then I'm writing that hard coded number. But what if the data is big and we have a lot of spellings there and we want to make sure that this number should be automated, this number should be calculated automatically. So I will come to this point as well in a while. Okay. Let's move to next few functions, and then we will have one good task, and the participants will be solving that, and then I will share the solution. Now regarding the transformation, so we have so far discussed the extraction functions of text functions which are available, that were left, right, and mid. Now we are going to another category, which is the transformation. So if you want to transform your data with respect to text functions, we have some functions like upper, lower, proper, right? So let me give you an example. For example, if I write my name in small letters, and if I want to convert them into capital, so I will use a function that is called upper, and then I will define the cell address. That's it. So it will convert all the alphabets into the capital letters. So it will not affect the special characters or numbers, because it only the upper function will make sure that the alphabets or characters of spelling alphabets will be transformed. If I have a spelling in just capital letters, and if I want to convert that into this lower case, so I can use the lower function here, right? And similarly, if I have a spelling and I want to transform into a proper case, now proper will give you the capital first alphabet of your word, and the remaining will be the small. So it will look like this, right? So for example, if I write my name Rahim Zulfiqar, and if I convert that into a proper case, equals to proper, so you can see that every word first alphabet is in capital and remaining are small, right? All right. Then we have one more function that is called concatenate. And example of concatenate is like, for example, if I write my name and my last name. So my first name and my last name is in two separate cells. And if I want to combine them, so I can use the concatenate function, right? So for example, equals to concatenate. In the text one argument, I will pick the cell which is E33. Then I need to add one space as well, because if I don't add a space, the Rahim and Ali will join together without space. So if I need a space, I will put inverted commas and a space in text two argument, and then I will select my last name, which is in F33, right? So concatenate is used to join more than two cell values, or to join more than two logics, basically. Okay, so you can join two formulas as well. You have seen the sign which is called this one. Most of the users says this is an and sign, but this is an ampersand, which also does the same work, right? So let me quickly review the chat window if we have anything there, or I can proceed. Is there any difference between concat and concatenate? Okay, let me check that. Equals to concat. Okay, it says that it concatenates a list or a range of text strings. So you can define the list or a text strings, but we can also see that as well on a website. Difference. It's a good question. We can see on the spot difference between concatenate and concat in Excel. So we'll get primarily a good answer is that. Yeah, so we have that the concat function combines the text from multiple ranges or strings, but it does not provide delimiter or ignore empty arguments. Concat replaces the concatenate function. However, the concatenate function will stay available with the compatibility earlier versions of Excel. So this means that the concat is more flexible in selecting some multiple ranges or the strings. Uh, it does not provide the delimiter, and it's still the concatenate functions was available in the previous versions of Excel. So concat can be considered as a newer thing, new function in Excel, which gives you some more benefits. So for in a longer run, you can just read this article as well, right? So this will clear you about the concat function more, right? So I hope the question or the query is clear. All right. Okay, so let's proceed further. Let's see how many of you can solve this query. Let me give you a short task. So for all those attendees who are present live here, you can just give your answers in the chat window. And for those who will be watching this recording later on, can solve and can provide their answers in the comment, or they can look to the answers after some minutes as well in the recording. Okay, so for example, if I write a sentence in a cell that is to be or not to be, right? This is the query. Okay, and how I need a solution, let me tell you, to be or not to be. So this is the query and this is the solution. So what you need to do is, if you are watching this webinar from your laptop or from your desktop PC, so you can open the Excel, write this sentence, and you need to transform this sentence into a solution, where you can see there is a just one difference between a question and a solution, is that the T is in capital letter and the remaining text is in the actual format. So how to solve this kind of a query with the help of a function or a formula? So I will wait for 1 minute to get your responses in the chat window, and then I will proceed to the solution. Okay. So any one of you can just share your feedback that how we will be going to solve this.
Rahim, will you be so kind as to repeat the question, please?
Yeah, sure. The question is that you have a sentence in one cell. This is to be or not to be. You have to write this sentence and you need to convert this sentence which is present in B38. Okay. So the highlighted one is a solution. You need to transform this particular part, which is in B37, to B38. So how are we gonna do with the help of formula or function? So Meenal says that we will be using the proper function for transformation. See, if I use the proper function, if I apply the proper function, what it will do, it will make every new word first letter capital, which is not the solution, actual solution, right? So proper is not the right answer here. So we got one of the responses here. Jayant Kumar Joshi is a kind of giving a good solution to us. Yes, there will be a combination of more than one functions. Very good, Jayant. Uh, so you understand the logics of text functions, combination of text functions. Very good. Right. So let me explain you that how we're gonna do this. It's very simple. Remember, a lot of users ask me that how to basically become a good smart user of applying the formulas and functions. So I tell them that do follow these two techniques. Whenever you stuck in the solutions part, you need to remember these two things. We got one more response in the chat window. Yes, this is also right. This is good. So let me tell you one solution from my side. But whenever you find something, some problem in Excel, remember that identify the common place and then identify the common point. Remember these two rules: identify the common place and identify the common point. So you need to see the difference between a question and an answer. So you find that only the letter T on the left side is being capital. So I thought in my mind that I have done some brainstorming that uh, the capital word can be transformed from small to capital. I can use upper. Okay. And the location, the common place, the location is basically left. So this gives me an answer that I can make a combination of upper and left, something to just transform this T. And the rest of the part is exactly same, which can be extracted by the help of mid function. Okay. So we will be doing some combination of 2, 3 functions of text. So let's start. Let me go step by step so that everyone can understand easily. First, I will extract the first character from the left side of this question. So it's very simple, equals to left b37 comma 1. We just need the one particular character, which is the t from the left side. Now we want to convert this small t into a capital. So we will be using the upper function. That's it, simple, right? The next part, which is starting from o till e, and this o after t, the o is basically present in the mid. So what I will do is I will say that start from second position and give me 99 characters. Now I will not count it manually like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I will get the last number, which is 15 or 17 or 18, because I don't have much time to count. And this could be, for example, if you thought about a big data and you have a lot of sentences there, and you need to make sure that the patterns will remains the same, because every sentence would have a different number of characters. So what I'm doing here is I'm just giving a bigger number, which is being a difference of the actual number. So actual numbers might be the number of characters are total of 15 characters or 17 characters, but here I'm just giving 99 because I'm sure that it is lesser than the 99, right? So when I press enter, all the text will be extracted from the mid position till the last character. Now what I need to do is, it was just for your explanation that I have split it into the three cells. Now what I will be doing is I will be just having a solution is in one entire cell. So I will go like equals to upper left. Okay, so this is the first part, that extract the first character from the left side and make it capital by the help of upper function. And then I will use ampersand sign, which is the concatenation, and I will add one more logic here of mid function, that start from the second position and extract the 99 characters. Oops, something has gone wrong here. I think left will come first, right? Left upper this cell comma 1. I hope I am right this time. Yes. So I got the right this time. So we will be starting with the left function, calling it upper. So technically, you learn one more thing here, that which I did a wrong. That you need to also consider that which function would be coming first, and then how to nest that function. So remember that Excel reads the nested the middle portion first, and then it goes outer side, right? So first Excel solve like it does the upper to the B37, but we say that only do the first character of the left side, and then that the second part of mid function. So this is how we got the solution. So we have two more solutions in the chat window as well, and this is one of the solution which I gave you. There could be more than one solutions as well, because Excel is a kind of application where you can think of your own mind, of your own logics as well, right? All right. Okay, so far so good. In this session you have learned, first I told you about the difference between a formula and function, right? Then we come to the functions part. Then I told you the comparison of writing in DAX and Excel. Then we recall all 6 different types of cell references, and so far we have covered 7 functions of text category, right? So I have written here. Okay, now let's move further. For example, if I have a sentence in a cell that says my, and there are too many spaces, name is Rahim, right? So we know that technically there should be a one space, not more than one space between two words. So there are unnecessary spaces. So to remove the unnecessary spaces, we can use the trim function, and that's very easy, right? So we have covered one more function, that is called trim function. Okay, so let me write trim here as well. Let me just move down these things. Okay. Okay, next function we will be discussing about, and that's one of the interesting part is, let's say we have some couple of names here. And if you are having laptop or desktop PC, I would like to just create this kind of data set at your own end as well. So for example, so that you can solve with me as well. So for example, if we have some names, Rahim Zulfiqar, Salim Kanchwala, Ali Ahmad, yes, and Faraz Sheikh, right? And we have a list where we have a lot of names there, and we want to split that into to extract the first name and the last name in different columns. So what do you think as an Excel user, how you can perform this kind of a task where we have some names, first name and last names, and we need to split that into two columns, first name and last name. So you can write your feedback in the chat window that what kind of solutions are available and how we're going to do that. So I can wait for a minute, and I will read the chat. Okay, so there is one feedback. Text to column, yes, very good. Text to column is there. Dinesh, using mid with left and right function. Dinesh, yes, I will tell you this solution as well, but there is one limitation. Jayant says text to column or flash fill. Yes, we have a one new word which is flash fill as well. But remember that flash fill will work in some certain cases where it also fails, where we have some middle names available, when we don't have some middle names, and we have those kind of complex data sets. So flash fill will not work. But if we have some good understood data sets available, so flash fill basically gives us a pattern to fetch the patterns from that particular data set, and it will always work on adjacent. So if we have a blank column between this first name and the names, so flash fill will not work. So it always needs the adjacent column to be executed. Thanks for the commenting. So yes, we have some couple of responses in the chat window. So let me show you all these three solutions one by one. So for text to columns, it's very easy. What I can do is I will just copy and paste the names, and I will apply text to column in this particular range. So I will select the data, and I will go to data, and then I will click on text to columns. Okay. And here I will define a common point, which is the space. So when I just check mark on the space, you can see a line is drawn here, which is saying that it will split based on the delimiter. So we have identified the common point, which is available in each of the name, which is the space as a common delimiter. And then I will press the next and then finish. So very quickly, we got the first name and the last names. But remember that if I change one name, for example, if I change this to Ali Salman, I need to run text to columns again. So you need to delete this again, and then you want to apply text to column again and again. So whenever there is a change, or whenever there is an appending of the data set, for example, you have 10 names, next day you have 30 names, so you need to apply text to columns again and again, right? But in the formulas, it's you just need to copy the formulas and paste it, and your solution is there. Similarly goes in the flash fill will not update if there is a change in a data set. So you need to think about in that perspective as well. So whatever the strategy you would like to have should be run in a longer way rather than in a shorter way, right? But it's all depend on the user preference and choices. So yes, we can make it dynamic, and for making it dynamic, we try to solve this query in with the help of formulas. Okay. Now a flash fill, what flash fill can do is, for example, if I write my first name and just select the other cells, and if I go to the data, and there you will find the flash fill option. So very quickly it will extract the first name. Basically flash will read the first name and then see if the others needs this kind of a similar patterns in the other cells as well. And similarly, if I write my last name and then I select the range, go to data and then flash fill, right? But still, if I change a name, I will not find that it's going to be updated with the help of flash fill. So I need to run flash fill again as well, right? Now let's come to the formula part. So for example, now I will show you one incorrect method. You have to correct me and then I will tell you the solution, right? Okay, find and proper. Yes, we will gonna do that with the help of now. If I start writing equals to left, because I know that every first name is on the left side. Okay, every name is first name is on the left side. So I started with equals to left, cell address, and then I just counted the number of characters in the spelling of Rahim, which is the 5. And then I press enter. And then I copied the this function and pasted below. Now what happens is that Ali Ahmed, now Ali is a spelling which has only 3 alphabets. So I need to just change, instead of 5, I need to change this 3 manually, right? So you can see that, you can assume that if you have a lot of names, for example, if a company has a 5,000 of employees, so you can understand that this kind of approach will not work because you have hard coded the number. We need to make sure that this number should be unique. One participant already said that we need to add the find function, and that's very good. So we are coming to another function regarding the transformations text function, that is a search category. So we have two functions, find and search. And I will tell you that what is the technical difference between find and search, because both are same. Either you apply find or search, but there is one technical difference which I will tell you. Let's come here. Equals to left. Okay. Now, instead of writing the hard coded number 5 or 3, I will add one more function, which is find function. Okay. Before that, let me make it more easy for you. What find function will give you? What will be the output of find function? It will always be a number, a positive number, and it basically gives you a position. So for example, uh, we need to find the position of space in this particular name, which is Rahim Zulfiqar. So you can say that space is located at the 6th position. Similarly, in the Salim Kanchwala, the space is on the 6th location. Ali Ahmad, the space is on the 4th location, and Farah Sheikh, definitely this is also on a 6th. So I need a function which returns these kind of numbers, right? So if I use find, the first function argument is finding a text, which is the delimiter, which is a common point which we have identified, that is a space which is enclosed in the quotes, and then within text. So we can define the cell address here within text, and we will close the bracket. And when I copy paste that function, so you can see that similarly it giving me the position of the space which is available, which is set in that particular cell, right? So what I can do now, you can pick the logic here. Finding left find function, and this time when I will just copy and paste, it gives me the accurate spelling. Either it's in 3 letters or 5 letters or 6 letters, doesn't matter, because we have made the number of characters as in dynamic. But one thing you need to make sure that there is one more function which is called, let's put into the other category, len function. Len function basically calculates the length of the characters available inside a cell. Either it's a space, special characters, or numbers or alphabets, small or big, doesn't matter, but it gives you a value of total length. So for example, if I say you manually count which is Rahim, so you will say there are 5 characters, but that's not true, because if I apply the len function here, it returns 6. Yes. So can anyone of the participant today, which is present here, can give me Logically, from our naked eyes, we see this spelling, which of 5 characters, we write 5. But with the help of len function, it's returning a 6. So my question is that why it's returning 6? Why it's not returning 5? So any one of you can tell me in the chat window, what's the logic here? So if you're watching the recording on YouTube, you can just put in the chat window and let me see how many of you can answer. Leading or trailing spaces, Deepak, very good. The last character of space, very good, Jayant. Deepak and Jayant both are correct. Yes, it counts spaces too. Yes, very good. More responses are coming. Yes, very good. So my next question is that what we need to do to eliminate that space? What should we do to just make sure that space should not coming? Trim. Do you think trim will work? Okay. Do you think trim will work? So what I can do is there is one more strategy. You can also apply trim, but so far as I know that uh, you can just, instead of applying trim, what you can do is you can just add -1. Okay. Now, what's the logic of having -1 here is that, let's understand. See, this specific part will return the position of a space, which is 6. So technically 6 minus 1 will return 5, right? And all those 5 characters from the left side will be extracted. Similarly, if we see the case of Ali Ahmed, the space is on the 4th position, and 4 minus 1, because we need to exclude that space. So we have put the -1 here. So this particular portion will return 4 and -1 will give us 3. So definitely there are 3 characters available in the spelling of Ali. So that will be extract from the left side. So this is one of the smart way to use the -1 to eliminate that particular space from this formula, right? Or from this logic, you can say. All right. Next thing. Now for the last names. So we will be starting with equals to mid, J28, comma. Now the start number. Now you can see that I need to make sure that the start number should not be static, it should be dynamic, right? So making it dynamic, what we need to do is we need to add the find function, right? And this time I am not adding -1 or +1. Okay. I'm just excluding that part. And number of characters, now I will not starting calculating or counting the number of characters in the word of Zulfiqar, because we know that if we have a big data and we have a lot of last names which are not exactly from the same spelling characters, might be some have 5 characters, some have 8, some have 10, right? So what we can do is we can just define a bigger number. So we know that any spelling could not exceed from 99 alphabets. That's technically understood, right? So I have defined 99 here, and let me just copy and paste. So I have easily got the Zulfikar, Kanchwala, Ahmad, and Sheikh. But there is one difference here. If I again use the len function, you can see it gives me a 10 here, right? So why 10 here? Okay, so 9 here, just there was just a space. So it is giving me a 9 here. Okay, the length of the word Zulfikar is 9, but it's not correct because from the naked eyes we can see that there are only 8 alphabets. But because we have started with a position of space, so we need to exclude the space. And this time we will be adding +1 because we are moving rightwards. We are not moving leftwards, backends. If we are moving leftwards, we can use -1, but we are moving forward, we need to exclude the space, so we are using +1 here, right? So that's the correct solution, extracting the last names dynamically. So if in future, if any name goes change here, for example, if I write Ali Salman, so automatically, because it's dynamic, so the solution also gets changes, right? So that's a better approach or a better way. Yes, Jayan, +1. Right. So I hope you have got this as well. And okay, so now we need to discuss that what is the difference between find and search. So let me give you an example and it will be clear to you. For example, if I write Azerbaijan, okay, and if I want to find the position of R, so anyone of you can tell me in the chat window what is the position of R, alphabet R, in the Azerbaijan? It's very simple, I guess, right? What is the position? Yes, very good. Fourth, right? So if I write here equals to find, what I need to find is R from the cell K34, right? So it gives me 4. But for example, instead of capital R, if I write a small r, still I am finding the R, but it's in small letter. So it will give me an error. So what do you understand by this? That find function is case sensitive, whereas the search function is non-case sensitive. So I hope the point is clear to you. Either you use find or search, doesn't matter. But if you have some specific uh, option for case sensitive and non case sensitive, that it will, you need to consider that. What, okay, let me see the chat window. What if you have 2R and it gives first one? Very good question. And I was just coming to this part as well, so I will answer this question as well. Okay, thank you for asking. Okay, so I hope that find and function is clear. So if I write search function and if I say that find the R in the word Azerbaijan, so it returns me 4. And if I write in the small letters, it still gives me the response as well, right? Whereas the find will not gives me a response, right? Now, coming to the question that if we need to come to another R, so what would be that in that case? So let's take. So you can see here we have in the Azerbaijan we have 3A. So we have 3A available, right? Is 3 right? So in Azerbaijan, we use the find function, find, right? Jayan says Excel AI. Yes, it's very. There is a meme of flash fill as well. When you have a list of names of the months and you just write Jan and then you drag with the help of flash fill, so it's a disaster. So it's it's a very dangerous AI. All right, so let's get to the Azerbaijan. Okay, so we have 3A, and we want, and every time you find a certain thing, it start finding from the left side, right? It start searching from the left side and it's stop at the first search value. It does not move to the second. So for example, in this case I want to find the second A position, because this A returns the first A which is available in Azerbaijan 1. But I don't need to find this first A, I need to find the location of the second A available in this Azerbaijan spelling. So let's get to this part, how we're going to do that. So you can see here in the find function, you have the last function argument, which was the optional, right? And this last function argument, which is the start number. So we know that the first A is is the number which is start. The first A position is the 1, right? And I need to move forward. So if I write 2 here and close the bracket, So the next A position is the 6th. So you can see that now the find function is giving me the position of A, which is the 6, right? So this is how we use the third function argument. Now we will not write this hard coded value. What we're going to do is we will just copy this first part, paste it here, and just add +1 so that it moves forward. So this is how we're gonna finding the position of the second A available in the Azerbaijan. So I hope this query is clear, that how to proceed to the next same kind of alphabet, right? So let me write in the chat window as well. Okay. All right. So far so good. We have covered some good number of functions regarding the text category. Okay, here we are. Next, we have the value function. Let me just go through a chat window if anything is there. You're welcome. Okay. So, for example, you have seen a kind of a data where you have some GL codes or where you have some amounts. So for example, if I write some few numbers in these cells, 100, 200, 300, right? And similarly, if I write again these same numbers, 100, 200, 300. Now let me ask a question from the participants here. If I sum these three numbers, I will get a total of 600, right? And if I again sum of these three numbers in the column L, I get 0. So any one of you can tell me that why I am getting 0 here and why I'm getting 600 here. Very good, Dinesh, and yes, very good. Okay, so we have got three responses. Okay, so because these, as a naked eyes, we can see these are numbers, but the data type, the type of these numbers are not actually numbers. These are text values. So as an Excel user, you know that the numbers are always on a right side inside a cell alignment. Either you put a date or a time or a numbers, positive numbers or negative numbers, they are on the right side. Whenever there is a text, they are on the left side. And there is a function which is called is number, which will return a boolean value. If there is a number in a cell, it will return a true, right? If there is a number but we need to confirm that either the property is in text or not, so it gives a false. So this means that is number saying that the 100 which is present in L38 is not a number, and we need to convert that into a number, right? So there could be many possible solutions available, but the one solution is to put the value function, and all those text will convert it into the values, so you can take the sum of these values as well, right? So this is how the value function gives you an advantage. There could be more strategies as well, depends on the situation. Dinesh is saying or simply add 0, but where to add 0? If you can elaborate more so I can understand. Using double minus before the solver could. Yes, that could be a possible reason, but you know that these kind of tricky things is just known by very few users. What I am trying to do is making sure that I can give you some easy possible solutions. But this is one of the way I didn't you have defined that. And double minus sign is basically used to convert the results of boolean values 1 and 0. I have also made a separate video on my channel as well. Okay, so I will share that as well with you. So thank you for your feedbacks and your responses. Okay, so let me count how many functions we have covered so far. We have covered around 12 functions so far. Okay, so let's come to two more functions. Now these both functions will return a kind of same results, but I will ask you that what is the technical difference between a substitute and replace. Okay. So for example, if I have a word which is Pakistan. Okay. Let me write this word again here as well. So this is a word and we want to convert that into Pakistan. Okay. All right. So how to do with the substitute and replace? Let's get to it. So with the help of substitute function, the substitute function has 4 function arguments. The first one is old text, the text you don't want. So within the inverted commas, I will write TAN, and in a new text, we don't need anything new to be added. So we will just put inverted commas together and we will close the bracket. So this Pakistan has been converted into Pakis with the help of substitute function. This is the solution, right? And now we will do this similar thing with the help of replace function. So equals to replace. Old text is the cell reference. Start number. Now here we need to define the starting position. So we need to count uh, the T position, which is the 6th position. And we need to eliminate 3 number of characters. And we don't need anything new, right? And this has done also the same thing. So let me just copy and paste it here. So you can see that the word was same, Pakistan, Pakistan, which has been converted into Pakis, and both different functions is giving me the same output. So what is the technical difference here? So what we need to use? Either we use substitute or replace. So all those participants who are available. So what do you think, guys? What we need to use, because the output is the same. What is the technical difference between these functions? So you can write in the chat and then I will have your feedback. Substituted almost like find and replace. Yes, very good. Good response. Replace is more dynamic, can be made dynamic, but still because we need to find the starting number and the ending number. So case sensitivity is not the case here. But Jayant is saying right, substitute in the substitute function. See, yes, replace is more specific with the positions. The replace is more specific with the positions, whereas the substitute does not require the position to be specified. So for example, if you have, now it depends on the situation, a kind of a data set you have. If you want to transform all those left side data into, you want to replace that, you can use replace function. If you don't have much time to just find the positions, and you have very much dynamic data where you have to replace some alphabets or values from cells, and you don't want to count that either it's mid or right, so you can use substitute function. So it depends that if you want to go with of certain positions, you can have a replace function. If you don't want, you can go with the substitute, right? So I hope that's clear. So we have so far also added substitute function and then also replace, right? So far we have covered 14, right? One more to go, 15. Another function is the text function, and this text functions can do a lot of different kind of things. So let me just do a bit formatting. we have covered 14 functions so far in these 4 kind of categories. And we are just moving with the last function, that is the text functions. So for example, if you have a date in a cell, and today is 16th of April 2021. So if you have a date in a cell and you want to just make sure that you get the number of month or number of day or a year with the help of text function, you can do it very easily. In the inverted commas, you can write 2 times d. It will give you the day in the numbers form. If you write 3 times d, you will get the name of the day, which is Friday, in a short format. If you write something like 4 times d, you will get the name of the day in a full form, with a complete spelling, that is Friday, right? So similarly, for the month, instead of d, we will be using m, and for the years, we will be using y. Okay. So for example, if we want to extract the number of month from a date, we use 2 times m, right? Similarly, we want name of the month, so we will write 3 times m. And if we want full spelling, so we will write 4 times m, right? Same goes with the year as well. 2 times y will give me 21, and 4 times y will give me 20, right? So what you can do is, basically, when you have a short date and you want to transform that short date into your own customized long format date, so you can do that. For example, first I need the day in full form, then I want the month, then again day number, and then year. So you can go ahead with your kind of customization, converting the short dates to your own customized long dates. So you can use this function as well. Okay. So I hope this is clear to you now, right? The text function. Okay. So now let's come to some examples part. Let me just unhide the sheet. Okay, so now we have some examples and we will be using some text functions. So in the first scenario, we need to join the 3 different values available in 3 different cells. Okay, and how are we gonna do that? It's very easy. Equals to first value, M% sign, second value, and M% and the third value. Right? You can also do this with the help of concatenate as well. We have already discussed, but also you can do with an ampersand sign. Right? That was very a simple query just to start with. Right? Okay. The next part is we need to join first name and the last name with a space. So how are we going to do that? First name, ampersand, then space in quotes, again ampersand, and the last name. So I hope this example is also simple. We have joined the first name, adding a space to it, and then the last name. Right? Next. Now this time in this particular example, we need to create a sentence, something like this person is X years old. So here on the first cell, it will be like John Smith is 45 years old. And in the next sentence, Michael Moore is 34 years old. So we need to see that which thing is constant in every sentence and which is changing. So whatever uh, the words or the ages are changing, in that particular place, we will have a cell references, and which are constant, we will write them into the inverted commas. Okay. So first we will take the name of that person from C41. We will add M% sign and then inverted commas, space is space, and then again the age, and then years old. That's it. and see. So all those words which were constant in every sentence, we have put them into the inverted commas, and those which were changing row by row, we have put the cell references, and we have make all the logics combined together with an ampersand sign, right? Next, this is interesting. We have one letter in each of the cell, and what we need to do is we need to just combine, we need to create a logic where we have step by step adding each of the alphabet. Okay, so this is very simple. First we will call the alphabet A, and then we will create a logic that take an alphabet from the left side and join that alphabet with a space and an alphabet which is already available on the upper cell. So this logic will, what it does is basically it just taking one alphabet from the left side and the remaining portion from the above cell. Okay, next, now we have the names and their date of births. So each employee has their date of birth, and we want to convert them into a sentence case. January 4, 1984, something like that. So for example, if I do like this, C78, and then I am taking the date of birth. So we know that the dates on the back end, dates are basically are the numbers, right? And if we take these dates into some other cells, it will convert that into a numbers. So what we need to do is we need to basically transform that shorter dates into a longer ones, customized format. So for that purpose, we will be using text functions. Okay, and how this solution will look like, equals to the name, ampersand, then in the inverted commas was born on, which is same for the every sentence. And then from here, we will be start using text function, and we will call the date of birth, and we will define our own customized format. So we need the day in full form, in full spelling, then comma space month, then again day, and then year. And that's how we create this sentence, right? Next, let me just make it more zoom. Okay, so now the next thing is that we need to use the right function to get the job grade. So that's very easy. Either we can define one here, or if we just not define one, but we know that this is the optional function argument, so we can just close the bracket and we will got all the grades from the left side, all the numbers, right? Next, we have to use the left function to get the alphabets. So again, it's very easy, having all those first characters from each of the cell, right? Okay. In this particular query, we need to basically trim each of the cell. Now, if we use the len function, for example, manually, if we find the number of characters in presented in this particular cell, which is C48, C148, is basically 5, right? If so, I can write 5 here. But if I use the len function, so the answer coming is basically 8. Now, 8 is not the right answer. Okay. Why 8 will not be the right answer? Because it contains some spaces as well, right? So I will use the trim function to remove the trailing spaces, right? So let me just check the chat window. Ahmed Ghaffar asked on YouTube channel how using value formula convert numbers as store text to a number format. Can he elaborate a bit more so that I can understand with the help of example? If he can write some examples on the YouTube, is if he is available still there. So I can just demonstrate in there as well in Excel. Okay. All right. So let me continue this part. Now we need to find the area code. So we know that area codes are available on the left side and they are of 3 characters. So we can easily use left function, right? And the last one is that we need to exclude the first character from each of the cell and the remaining we want here. So starting from the second position and then 99 characters. Now, what happens is that it gives me that my solution is not correct. It gives me try again, because if I use len function here, so it returns 9 here. Now, if I count manually from the naked eyes that there are only 8 characters inside a cell, but might be there are some spaces as well. So that's why it's giving me try again, right? So I need to remove uh, the spaces as well. So I can add trim function. Things always in a data set, right? So I hope that's clear to you. Okay. So let me proceed to one more interesting query about the text thing is, just give me a minute. Let me change the screen. All right. So now I hope that you are able to view the screen, the web browser, right? So this is investing.com. And from here, we will take one of the company market share prices. And what we're gonna do is we will copy and paste, and we will see that if there is a possible error or a kind of transformation required to that data set or not. And then we will be applying the text function. So let's go to the tools and then stock screener. And here, let me select the country, for example, Azerbaijan, if it's available. Okay, let me take Pakistan here. Okay, so we have some Pakistani companies. So let's take any one of them. For example, United Bank. And we will go to the historical data. Okay, so there is one option, either we can download this. So instead of daily, I have selected monthly. So I have a choice. I can download this data. This will be a CSV file. Okay. Or I can just select all these ranges and I can just copy and paste. So let me change the criteria here from, I want from 2018, for example, and click on apply. Okay. So now what I can do is I will just select it manually. And I'm just selecting these dates and right click copy, and let's go to Excel and let's paste this data. Okay, so now we got the data from investing.com, right? And let's see if the format of the dates on the left side in the column A is correct or not. So you need to see that and you need to give me an answer. Now here, if I change the format of a date format, now you will observe one technical issue here. From the website, we have a data from 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021, right? But when I copy that data into the Excel, it's just change everything. It's not recognizing that kind of format which is on the website, and it gives me 2021 everywhere, right? So this is how you need to consider these kind of issues are very much common, and you need to use, right? Okay, Ahmed Ghaffar is on Zoom now, so I think he has connected with us on Zoom. Ahmed, I have a video for that as well. I have given a solution. Let me show it to you, dear. Let me just give you a direction for that particular thing. There can be a lot of issues with respect to the dates, so don't worry about it. We are here to help you. Just give me a minute. Let me just open that particular reference point for the Ahmed Ghaffar. I think he is looking for that solution. So all right, so I hope that you are able to see the screen. So Ahmed, this is the video which you need to consider after the session. You can watch this. I can just copy the URL in the chat window as well for you. And if you still find something issue in your kind of data set for transformation of dates, you can just email the sample file at excelbasement@gmail.com, so we can draft a solution for you in the available time, right? So you need to consider this video where I have explained in detail. This is of 29 minutes of video which in which I have defined that there are 4 different queries about the dates, handling to them and correcting them from the incorrect to proper format. So you can refer this video. So I hope you will refer this video, and do let me know if this still solves your query, or I have also mentioned the email address as well for you. Okay. All right. Okay, let's come back to the problem which we have here in this particular Excel file. So we were on this Excel file and we were discussing that whatever we have copied from the website, uh, we don't got, and this is a date issue. So what we can do is we can use the text functions here. We can extract all those. You can see the middle portion is basically year here, right? So you can see here this 21 is basically year 2021. This 20 in the middle is basically the year, right? And this 19 here as well. So you have a choice. If you download, for example, if you download the CSV file from a website, right? So you can apply this into text to columns scenario, and where you can change the format you want. Understanding, I am telling you that these kind of issues are very much common, and all those this kind of issues where we have to use some 3-4 different kind of text functions to correct all these kind of issues with respect to dates. Because if you do a lookup on these kind of getting the share prices of a particular company of 2019 and 18, you will not find that, because it by default is converted into a different format by the Excel itself, right? So you can't do the lookups or any other kind of function to get the required result. So we need to correct the dates formats, right? So this you can just solve this issue and do write in the YouTube video in the comments part that how you solve this kind of an issue, this kind of a challenge, right? And I will be commenting after the session as well, right? Okay. So I hope that so far we have learned lot of scenarios as well here. The one part which I want to show you is that how it will be look like in Power Pivot DAX, because the transformation is basically same when we apply the text functions. So for example, if I have some names here, copy and paste, and let me show it in the Power Pivot screen. So first I will convert that into a table format. Then I will go to Power Pivot and I will click on add to data model. So it will take some few seconds to open that window, Power Pivot window for Excel. And here you will see there is a first column of names, and we want to split the first names and the last name. So here we have a calculated column. So we will write a DAX here. First, we will define the name of the column, which is first name, colon equals to. Now, the writing way is basically same as we write in Excel worksheet is basically same here, but here we have to follow the structured selecting the first names equals to left. Now, instead of cell reference, which we use like A1, B1, relative and absolute in Excel, we need to define the column name here. So the column name is here is names and how many number of characters you want. So we will add find function. We know that the common delimiter is a space here. And again, the name of the column and close the bracket. So see, similarly, it gives you the first names from a column, right? For the last names, again, we will define the we will start with mid function. Column name is the names. We will put the find function +1 to move forward and then comma 99, right? So we got all the last names from here, right? So you can see that this is exactly same kind of style which we do in Excel, but here we have to follow the structured references in Power Pivot, right? Okay, so if you look at to the dex.guide, okay, this is the website where you can follow the text functions which are also available for the Power BI or for the Power Pivot in Excel. So you can click on text functions. Let me just put that into the chat window as well for you. So here we have covered all those text functions, 15 different text functions like left, len, lower, mid, replace, right, search, substitute, right? So if you want to learn that, you just need to click on that and you will find one video for that. And also the explanation of each of the syntaxes and how to do it in Power Pivot DAX, right? And there is one more website which is called dax.do. And in this website, you have already one data set available. So you can go ahead and practice that as well. So you have some tables like currency, customer, date, product, sales, and you can write the DAX here. But if you are very new and a beginner, so you can start with DAX.guide, and you can just take any help from here as well, right? So this was a part of Power Pivot that it's a kind of a similar thing which we have to do with respect to the text functions, right? Let's come back to the Excel. All right. Okay, so the last part is that for those of you who have been new and you are exploring for the very first time, you can just subscribe to my channel, Excel Basement Private Limited, and you will find a lot of videos regarding Excel, Power BI, and some other applications as well. So that's all from my side for today's session regarding the text functions. And if there is any question, so you can ask in the chat.
Thank you, Rahim.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, if anybody has his or her question, please ask.
So if anyone has question or anything you want to ask, I am also available on excelbasement@gmail.com. No worries. Even you can just write your query on YouTube comments area, and after that I will give you a detailed explanation on that as well. And thank you so much everyone for joining from the different